Hi everyone, I'm super excited to talk to you today about our 40 book challenge. I want to give a quick shout out to Miss Rodriguez for sharing these awesome video game slides with me. Let's go ahead and get started. For your mission today, we're going to go over what is expected of you in this challenge. This one we'll do in another video, don't worry about it. And we're mostly going to focus on genres and learning about different reading genres. What you need to have open right now is the 40 book challenge workbook, which is the PowerPoint that you're going to find on Schoology. So what is a genre, or what does genre mean? Well, a genre is a way to group books together that have things in common, that have similarities. Same thing like music, there's different music genres, we have different reading genres. For this first genre, we have fantasy. Fantasy are books that explore imaginary places with impossible events, like talking to animals, people with supernatural powers, or magic powers. And fantasy genre usually deals with fictional events that simply could never happen in real life. A few examples and recommendations are the Harry Potter series, Blade So Black, Lightning Thief, and Aragon. One fantasy book recommendation I have is The Girl Who Drank the Moon. This story is about Luna, who was raised by a witch and must figure out how to handle her magical powers, which was accidentally given to her. And here's some more details about the book. Another genre we have is poetry. So poetry can actually also be written as a novel, which is the recommendations I have for you here. Poetry is usually written in verse, which means it's shorter lines, not like paragraphs. And it's written to elicit thoughts and emotions from the reader. Poetry is sometimes rhyming, not always. It has imagery and figurative language to convey a message. Some recommendations are Love That Dog, Falling Up, Booked, and The Poet X. Now we have mystery and horror. This genre, these books are fictional, so they're made up, usually have a puzzling event or crime that's trying to be solved, which is not solved until the end of the book in order to keep the reader in suspense. Mystery books are often realistic, and then horror stories also, which focus on creating a feeling of fear, disgust, or terror. And those horror stories often use fantasy elements or fairy tale elements. Here's some recommendations and examples if you want to take a look. So I love this genre, but one specific recommendation I'll share with you right now is this book titled One of Us is Lying. It's a mystery/suspense novel. And the book uses multi-perspective, so each chapter is focusing on a different character, different point of view, and they all get to share their story. Here is some details about that book. So this next genre we have is realistic fiction. Just think of that word realistic. These stories are pretty much, when you're reading it, you're like, is this a true story? So these are stories that could have actually happened. The setting is in the present or recent past, could have taken place in a real place or somewhere that could be real. The characters interact with one another as if the story takes place in real life, meaning that they face real issues and have to solve their problems like everyday people have to. A few recommendations are Wonder, Smile, Holes, Ghost, Hatchet, and Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Here's a specific recommendation for that genre. This book is called Out of My Mind by Sharon Draper. It's about the main character is someone who has cerebral palsy, so she can't walk or talk, but she's really, really smart. And it's just about her story and how she really wants to not be remembered for the disease that she has and how she interacts with people. So the next genre we have is historical fiction. So think history takes place in the past. These books have a setting, right, that takes place in the past, is usually a real place, or it could have been a real place in a specific time period. The characters are real and based upon people who would have lived in that time period that the book took place. The book stays true to the time period, so if it's in the past, they don't have cell phones, stuff like that. Explores specific issues and problems around that era of history. Some examples and recommendations are I Survived, Prisoner B 3087, Bud Not Buddy, and Number the Stars. Here's a specific recommendation from that genre. The title is Codename Verdi. It focuses on the friendship between two young British women. One is English and one is Scottish. Takes place during World War II when a spy is captured by the Nazis in France, and there is a pilot who brought her there. So you're following the story of these two girls trying to survive during war times. And here's some more details about that book. All right, our next genre is informational text or nonfiction. It might not sound that interesting, but I really like this genre. So nonfiction means that there are no characters, but instead the author wants to inform us of a specific topic. The author often uses specific text features such as a table of contents, an index or glossary, bold or italicized words, photos, captions, graphics, and charts. Some examples and recommendations include Genius, The Most Astounding Inventions of All Time, The Notorious Benedict Arnold, First and 10, Top 10 Lists of Everything in Football, and Older Than Dirt, A Wild But True History of Earth. One specific book recommendation I have for informational or nonfiction is titled Beastly Brains, Exploring How Animals Think, Talk, and Feel. So in this book, the author goes in exploring how animals feel empathy, how they communicate, and how their societies work through interviews and historical stories. So researchers have been spending years analyzing the minds of animals. And today, science, old theories are showing that animals and humans have surprising similarities. The next genre we have here is biography. So a biography is a story of a real person's life written by someone else. If I'm writing about my own life, that would be called an autobiography. These books often contain detailed description of the person's life and important events, and it's usually in chronological order, so from younger to older. Some recommendations are the Who Was series, Hidden Figures, I Am Malala, and The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Here I have for you a biography recommendation by the Edge series. You can see right here. This one focuses on sports. This specifically, Cristiano Ronaldo in this book focuses on his story of growing up and becoming an amazing soccer player. So starting from playing in the streets until he joined Real Madrid. Again, here's some more details about that book. All right, one last genre for you now is science fiction. I love science fiction. And what this genre is usually includes imagined fiction that typically focuses on imagined or futuristic ideas such as advanced science and technology, space exploration, time travel, parallel universe, or extraterrestrial life. Some recommendations and examples include The Maze Runner, Ender's Game, Proxy, Akata Witch, even Hunger Games would be included in this genre. One book recommendation I have for this genre is Ready Player One. So this book takes place in the future in the year 2045. People are living in these RV towers on top of one another, kind of looks like that. And the main character is playing this video game and he's trying to win because the winner gets to inherit the game's creator's fortune. So a lot of money. There's some more details about the book right there. So as you work through the 40 book challenge and read books, you will earn badges on Schoology. So here are what those badges look like. Every 5 books, you will win a new badge until you keep going all the way till you reach 40 and you are a 40 book challenge winner. So keep reading, and stay on top of turning in your 40 book challenge workbook, which is the PowerPoint you find on Schoology. All right, so there are 3 different ways to access books online. We have Libby, which is my favorite option. Option 2 is Open eBooks and First Books. That's the same website, same platform. And the third option is Open Library. So watch the videos, the how-to videos on our class site to find out how to navigate these and how to use those different platforms. So your first assignment is to complete pages 2 and 4 of your challenge workbook, your 40 book challenge workbook, which is that PowerPoint that you open from Schoology. Page 2 is just about the genres. So writing a little blurb in each of those bubbles, put it in your own words. And then page 4 is books that you want to read. So just fill out 5 at least. Then choose your first book and start reading so you can be ready for next week's 40 book challenge assignment.